Hi guys, new COVID variant from South Africa is reported, and I know you're all scared like never before. 32 mutations from the original strain, 500% more contagious. The vaccine might no longer work. What should we do, guys? Relax, the only thing you need to do is to watch this video. I will tell you how the left scientists in combination with woke media created this unscientific madness. To understand how we are getting tricked, you need to look at the data and turn your brain on. This is the scariest picture which you can find on different websites, which shows you basically the percentage of the dominant strain in South Africa over the time. Here you can see three things. First, how fast the Beta variant became the dominant strain long time ago. Then you can look at the Delta variant, and it looks like it took a little bit more time to make it a dominant strain. And now you have this new strain, which is B11529, which became dominant pretty much immediately. WHO already did its job and gave this virus a new name called Omicron, which is another Greek letter which looks like 0. I know this chart looks scary, and you probably think that there must be at least 1 million per day new cases of COVID in South Africa. Let's look at the data. November 3rd, 300 cases. This is super duper low for the 60 million population of South Africa. In fact, this is the lowest value since the pandemic started over there. If you look at the last 7 days, you can see that it grew a little bit. So it was 870 on November 23rd, then it was 1200, then it was 2500, then 2800, and yesterday it was 3200, which is relatively a lot, but nothing close to 1 million. Now let's compare it to our scary chart. You can see that Omicron became dominant within the period from November 1 to November 15, which was the lowest time in terms of infection in South Africa. Isn't it clear that one of the strains just died out and another one just took off? For the Delta variant, the situation was completely different because you had two different strains which were competing between each other, and then at some point Delta, which was more contagious, finally managed to win. In this situation, Delta basically went to 0 and then Omicron started. Is it really that rocket science? Growing from 300 cases per day to 3,200 cases per day in course of 4 weeks is a lot, but it's not really that unusual. Especially if you consider that South Africa is kind of a failed state and the testing might not be that consistent and precise. Not convinced yet? Let's read the news. Omicron strain was already detected in Israel from the traveler who returned from Malawi, which is another African country. How many cases do we have in Malawi? There must be some kind of epidemic over there, huh? Well, it's only 3 cases per day. You can tell that Malawi is probably even more of a failed state than South Africa, and they might have no testing, but somehow they managed to test a bunch of people. If you look like previous half a year, there were like a bunch of cases there. Another case of Omicron is found in Belgium, and here we have way more of details. So there is a woman who got tested positive on November 22nd, and 11 days prior she was traveling to Egypt through Turkey. I am in Turkey right now, and in 3 days I'm actually going to Egypt to do my diving certification, so I'm very concerned. But let's check the data. Any extraordinary pandemic in Egypt or maybe in Turkey? It doesn't look like. So basically we have 3 countries where the infection of Omicron was supposedly pretty high 18 days ago, and somehow it's not, and it's only in South Africa. Maybe it's a racist virus and it only affects South Africa. Okay, it's time to reveal the truth. Who is that brave scientist from South Africa who created this Omicron gate? He's not your typical black guy, neither he is a descendant of a white colonist. He is a Brazilian guy, Tulio de Oliveira. Why would a Brazilian decide to move to failed state of South Africa and do science over there? Let's find out from his Twitter account. Busy day on B11529, a variant of great concern. The world should provide support to South Africa and not discriminate or isolate it. By protecting and supporting it, we will protect the world. A plea for billionaires and financial institutions. What? Could this whole Omicron thing could be just like the guy wanted to raise some money for charities in Africa? I would like to plead to all billionaires in this world, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Dr. Pat Soon-Chong, Warren Buffett, to support Africa and South Africa financially to control and extinguish variants. By protecting its poor and oppressed population, we will protect the world. Poor and oppressed, isn't it from Karl Marx's textbook? How is the population of South Africa being oppressed? By having super corrupt government and introduce racial quotas to limit the business opportunity of the white population? Let's see what else this brilliant scientist has to say. A new COVID variant is no surprise when rich countries are hoarding vaccines. Okay, so rich countries invested heavily in science, developed a breakthrough vaccines, but they haven't gave it to the poor for free, and that's why they're guilty. That's a very common position from the left, but not really from the scientific community. In fact, you have more cases in Europe and United States than in the whole Africa. But the actual problem is that in South Africa you have so many people with HIV positive status who are not being treated at all. Therefore, they have a very low immunity, and as the result, the virus can live in their organism for a very, very, very long time, which allows it to mutate at much higher rates compared to HIV negative or HIV treated person. Then I found this. Basically, the guy retweeted a radical Islam preacher. Imagine a scientist retweeting an Islamist. That guy in the golden robe and the towel is one of those so-called peaceful preachers. Wikipedia tells us that Menk opposes terrorism and has pledged his aid in curbing religious extremism in Maldives. And Menk said that everyone on this earth is part of a family. If you scroll down, he's a little bit homophobic. Just a little bit. With all due respects to the animals, homosexuals are worse than animals. Despite this statement, the guy has 2.7 million subscribers on YouTube. He's not banned like many other people who challenge the guidelines of CDC, for example. Also, this guy banned in Denmark and Singapore. Okay, any more cringe tweets? Mask wearing cuts COVID incidence by 53%. New meta-analysis by BMJ. This is not a scientific study or any kind of scientific article, it's just some woke analysis. And I'm not going to comment on wearing a mask.
You know the thing.
Climate change is a serious threat to human health. At MSF, we are learning how we can adopt our humanitarian medical response in a rapidly changing reality and working to reduce our carbon footprint. What kind of Marxist you are if you don't have a tweet which connects climate change and the poverty? As one of the Swedish officials once said, it doesn't really matter whether climate change is real or not, but it gives us an opportunity to bring the justice for poor and oppressed. So, do you think this guy is an honest, world-known scientist, or he's just a guy who has certain agenda? You know, there are certain type of people who want to save the world, and these people are actually coming to Africa to do some useless voluntary work. Once I was in Uganda and I met some people like that, and I asked them what they are doing, and they told me, oh, we're here to teach local villagers how to cook. And I was like, don't they know how to cook already? And their answer was like, yeah, they know how to cook, but they are using so much oil, they do those deep fried things. This is so much unhealthy. And we are here to save their life and show them how to make freaking salad. I'm deeply concerned that the ignorant media in combination with the woke left scientists can shake the whole world without any accountability. Again, maybe I'm wrong and the current vaccine won't work on this particular strain for some kind of a mysterious reason. But the reality is that there is zero scientific evidence for that at that point. There are 32 mutations, which is pretty much the same as you could see in any other strains. What is so special about this Omicron edition? And it is true that sooner or later the virus will mutate and the current vaccine won't work. But luckily we have this mRNA technology which allows us to modify the vaccine within 3 days, so this is not really an issue. Possibly this virus is more contagious than the Delta variant, but it's no way 500% more contagious. The original virus from the day one was one of the most contagious thing humanity ever seen, and it took a while for evolution to develop a Delta strain which is 60% more contagious. The problem is that biology and evolution has their limitations, and you cannot make virus infinitely contagious. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye.